I was wearing a sweaty T-shirt a minute ago. I said, I got to put something nice on. It's Melinda, for God's sakes.
You dressing nice. First you do the muscle shirt and now you wear a nice shirt for the ladies. I
It's all
like
about
the
the gals.
dedication.
I don't think any men watch the show. Real men.
Yeah, unless I have some weird stalkers that are trying to take me down, I think the ladies like our chit chat because we talk about stuff that dudes don't normally talk
You
about.
got two hotties coming on the show this week.
That's
Male
true.
hotties.
I do have some hotties getting on the show this next week. And by the way, I'm Melinda McKinsey.
And I'm Tom Wise, adjusting the volume.
And we are going to unpack some shit with you today. So, Tom, you said you've got some good ones, right?
Yeah. Okay, I've got one is let me know.
Yes.
The other one is TP.
TP. Tom Petty?
Nope. The other is drop an egg. And the other one is Trump. I'm jealous.
Good Lord. You really have more topics than I've heard you come up with in a while. What is happening in your personal life?
Well, I had those 3 months of selling the house and getting stuff. I was dry as a bone. Now I'm a font.
That's true.
I'm even coming up with comedy stuff.
All right. Yeah. So I want to start with saying Cuomo is fucked. So that's the thing. I don't know if you've been watching the news.
You know what? I've been following that with a little bit of an eyeball. Seems like he's harassed somebody and now chickens are coming home to roost.
Yeah. And there's some details, he had opportunities to make things better. And that's the bummer of the story, really, that, we hear it a lot in New York, right? Because he was such a hero and he got an Emmy and he was like, oh, he's the guy. And now, so he did release some, I don't know how politics work. And, me sitting at home on, watching this, it's easy for me to judge and go, why would he do that? Right. But he released a statement on Sunday that was like, well, I see now the things I said could have been misconstrued, but I didn't touch anybody.
Men in power, you can't say anything because everybody's job is in jeopardy, relationship in jeopardy. People are nervous around you. You're not like the weirdo who's cleaning windows at stoplights. You can affect my life. I have to be careful. I've got to laugh at your stupid sexual innuendo.
That's the bummer, right? Because, he's 63. So he definitely came from an era where these things were acceptable. And basically what happened was a year ago, there was a young girl that was his executive something or other. And, she was single, he was single. And he asked her, would you have sex with an older man? Which if somebody's young when working for you.
You can't ask that question.
You can't. Then he asked her or another one if they'd play strip poker with him.
Ugh.
And so the one young girl that got propositioned, she reported it right away and they moved her somewhere else, which clearly they didn't do anything about it.
Right. But even so, she was on a particular path working with a powerful person with maybe higher aspirations. This gets derailed. Now you're working for a junior vice president or a junior executive over here, and your path is nowhere near going to the top that you had planned.
Yes. Yeah. So it's unfortunate. The other lady said he kissed her without permission, which is, that's.
I always pretend I'm from Europe when I do that. I'm European.
What? So he's fucked. It's all over the news. I don't know how he's going to get out of it. They're asking for him to resign or to have him impeached. So I don't know what's going to happen, but clearly he's in some trouble because no matter what he does from this point on.
The trouble is here's the deal.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. So on one hand, you've got one party where those guys can do anything. And they're supposed to be the high moral group, the religious group.
Yeah.
And we're all against this shitty behavior. We're all against all of it.
Yeah.
And so what's the proper penalty for nonsense like that? It's a serious infraction. It's a serious deal. But do you lose your governorship over that? Or is it something else? Is it something else you do?
I think that's the problem, right? We're hot and we're cold on these issues. Some of them get handed the worst possible sentence, and some of them get by. We don't have any conformity over,
I
this
mean,
happens, this.
yeah, frankly, the Republicans don't have anywhere to talk about this. Their
I
fearless
know.
leader has been super guilty, but everybody's up on a. I was listening to the what is it, CPAC or whatever there was, the
Oh, yes.
the mini Republican convention, and
Yes.
the governor of South Dakota is going off. She's making a speech, and she's like, "Oh, and Cuomo, they're he doesn't want to count all the dead COVID patients." And I'm saying, you don't want to count any of the dead COVID patients. So
Yeah.
which is it? You're counting them or you're not, or whatever's convenient. And then she's also talking about, we never shut down the government. We never shut down the school. We never have a mask mandate. We never, and everyone's cheering. It's a pandemic. We're trying to save lives. I mean, we're not just doing this trying to control people. It's insane. There's just no thought.
Yeah.
It's all just reactive.
It's very reactive. I don't know what the answer is, because it feels very like we're at a point where we're going to make a turn one way or the other, right? I feel like because we're in a pandemic, we all have a lot of time to pay attention to these things. I mean, you tell me, Tom, if we were in a pandemic and all this nonsense was happening, like, even though the Capitol riots were horrific, and I don't think they're getting enough attention about how fucked up that was, but if we were living our lives and not in the pandemic, do we even think it would get the attention that it did? I feel like a lot of things are coming up now because we all have the time to pay attention to it, because it's our opportunity to make some real changes in the world. That's what I think.
It's interesting. Let me say this though. If he does resign or he does do whatever, it really sharpens the Democratic Party. So we're getting rid of all the nonsense, whereas Republicans, apparently, they're just letting the cancer fester, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah, they're in a lot of trouble. So yeah.
I mean, I got no time for any man who's powerful abusing his power with women. No, I got no time for that.
Right?
He needs to be super. I mean, I look at my brother-in-law, who's a judge. He's whatever that is, circuit, whatever. He's one step below the Florida Supreme Court.
Okay.
He's in a position of a lot of power and authority.
Yeah.
He is super straight, no nonsense, no innuendos, no, he's as straight as an arrow. I mean, that's, it's like there's, and he's older than Cuomo. Believe me, that was a time and a place. No, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, we knew we're not putting up with this nonsense. That's 20 years ago, year 2000. Everybody was aware of harassment. We all knew about harassment.
Yeah. I feel like we all know the difference between right and wrong. It's people who believe they can get by with it and waiting to see if they can slip it around.
And here's the deal, because I'm the same guy. I'm Cuomo on a level, whereas I'm kind of loose and blah 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 blah, and it would be within my personality to have fun with somebody, to say something, and that's like, whoa, that's really inappropriate. You really can't say, Sally, that dress fits you like a glove. Oof.
Right.
I can't say that.
No.
Even though now, if I was a coworker or worked in a different department and we were of a similar age, you might be able to say, wow, that's really flattering. That really looks, you're losing weight. You're looking good, baby. Keep it going. You know what I'm saying?
When you're in a position of power, you just have to stop all the nonsense.
All the nonsense. No more sex talk. You can't make any comments on anybody's hair color. Nothing.
Just let it be. There's other things you can focus on.
Absolutely.
It's unnecessary.
Right.
And what the kissing thing is about, I have no idea, because I've never in my life.
Well, if you want to raise, though, that's pretty much expected. How do you think Paula got her position?
Well, Paula's special and different. Paula can do whatever she wants. But yes, so Cuomo's fucked, and I have a lot. I just came up with, like, look at all this. I have all these questions for you.
Yes, ma'am. You in the back.
Let's do your topic, and then I'm just gonna start hitting you with some random questions.
So I'm driving another one of these trucks. Remember a couple months ago, I was clearing out the garage and I rented a truck with a lift gate. I mean, that's a serious piece of equipment.
Yeah, it is. You can have a regular driver's license with that, right?
Yeah, when you rent them like that, yeah. And they're not stick shift, and there's limitations to them. But it's a 16 or 18 foot truck with a lift gate.
Yes.
So I mean, it's not for it's not like everybody can't do it, but there's things that are happening there,
Sure.
heavy
Yeah.
metal, big gates up and down. You could crush your toe. You could
Yep.
kill yourself. So I'm driving it and I'm noticing we've all seen the videos of guys driving those trucks into a viaduct or a railroad crossing or into a bridge.
Sure.
I mean, we've all seen the videos of that.
Yes, we have.
It's
Yeah.
insane. And I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm looking at my side mirrors, and in the side mirrors, you can see the corner of the truck and it says 11 feet, 6 inches, right?
Okay.
When I'm looking at my side mirror. Now, when I'm looking out the windshield, I've got a little decal at the top says oil change 58,000 miles. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm saying, hey, I got a suggestion for the trucking companies.
The placement.
Why not take that 11-foot 6-inch thing and put that up in the windshield? So when I'm approaching a bridge or I'm going into McDonald's and the McDonald's says 9 foot 6 inches and my thing says 11 foot 6 inches, you might want to, reconsider moving forward.
Yes.
I mean, the side thing does nothing for me.
No.
That bridge you just went through was, 11 feet, 6 inches.
Yeah. Yeah. See?
I'm saying, as a renter of the truck, I'm not that concerned about the oil change.
Yeah. I have to agree with you on that one, Tom. I think you're right. I think
that's usually I'm off base.
Well, because if you're using a truck like that and you're renting, obviously you're not familiar with it. It's a rental. And let's say you're in a panic and you look at something and you could glance up and see the 58 and maybe think 5'8" or something different in your brain. So yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, terrible. If I'm approaching a bridge and it says 10 feet, 6 inches, and that same eye line is that little sticker, you get one last chance to.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. I would never look out my side windows to go, how tall is this thing? I would panic. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Talking about panic. So I'm at a 3-way left turn lane, driving the truck around town. And it's, medium busy. We're all stopped, 12 cars on number 6 behind me, 6 in front, three abreast. We're all waiting on the line. And this guy in a Jeep next to me, he's got 12 feet between him and the car in front of him, right?
Okay. And
all of a sudden, I just, in the corner of my eye, I see this he's moving. And he's closing on the car in front of him. And he gets 2 feet away, 3 feet away. I go, he doesn't know he's moving. So I hit my horn.
Yeah.
And then he instinctively hits his brakes and he's this far away. Not that it would have been a huge deal.
But still,
he would have tapped that guy. Who knows what happens and whatever.
Yeah.
So he was appreciative that because he was drifting. I don't know how you drift, automatic car, but he was doing it.
Can you drive a stick shift, Tom?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm proud of the fact that I can too. It's not something I prefer. I feel like when you're driving a stick shift, you're very busy with your feet and your hands. And for me, driving a stick shift, the worst part is if you have to stop on a hill. I'm always very afraid.
Yeah, there's technique involved.
Well, I understand there's a technique, but here's my fear.
Yeah.
As people that are driving.
As a human
being, if I get behind a car, I don't think, you know what, I need to give more space. That's probably a stick shift because sticks roll back for, you know what I mean? So for people that fear driving a stick shift, I think the number one reason is it's just very bit, right? If you have an automatic, you're looking at your phone, you're doing all this stuff, but with the stick shift, you have to honestly.
Yeah, it's stick shift is too much for the city.
It's
a weekend car.
I could never drive a stick shift. It's hard enough here driving because the way there's a lot of aggression. There's a lot of people are in a hurry. It is commonplace here, Tom, if you're driving and you're at a stoplight, that the people that are going the opposite direction that need to turn in front of you will turn in front of you as soon as the light changes.
They're going to dash.
Because they don't have the time to wait. And so you're when I drive, it's constantly, people will drive around you across the double yellow line if they think you're going too slow. It's madness. So I try to learn when I drive here to not be surprised because I'm like, what? You can't. Well, obviously you can because you did. So,
I witnessed it.
That's the way that it goes.
I had an older woman in front of me. I'm driving the truck. It's a busy Sunday afternoon,
Yes.
high rate of traffic. She's like, she's driving a little bit in front and she's slowing down and she's creeping. She's checking her phone or who knows what she's doing.
Yep.
So I give her a little, hey, we're all going here.
Yep.
Do whatever you're doing somewhere else. And then she drives another block and she's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I give her another, hey, let's focus. There's 40 yards between you and the guy in front of you. I don't know what you're up to. And she's like, gives me the hand like, hey. I go, you do your bit and I won't have to keep on you.
Don't fuss me. I'm looking at my phone.
Don't fuss me. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm ordering lunch. God dang it.
Yeah, driving is very frustrating. I feel like of all the cities I've lived in, I found Florida very frustrating because I felt like with the combination of the senior citizens and the very young drivers, that it was very chaotic. There was a lot of clashes, I felt like, on the road between, there's a lot in the area I lived in. There were a lot of snowbirds that wanted their peace and quiet and wanted to drive slowly. And then you do have the young kids that are local to the area that they can't wait to get in their car because there's a lot of places that are easy to just drive that straight path in Florida. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
So I felt like it was a very volatile situation driving in Florida.
I used to drive a truck for work.
Oh.
Back in the old days, are you familiar with the time, probably in the 70s? Maybe the early 80s, when banks used to give away premiums if you were to make a deposit $10,000, get a toaster.
Oh, sure, of course, yes.
Okay,
I remember that.
Yeah, I used to work for a bank up in Chicago that had like 7 branches.
Okay.
And then my job was to drive the truck loaded with the premiums and restock all those branches with their necessary items. I nicknamed. Go ahead.
What is that title called? What is that? What would you call that job?
What I did?
You're a gift giver?
No, well, I was like a warehouse guy.
Oh, okay.
I never got in any accidents in my own car, but I had many accidents with the company trucks.
Because it's just big and bulky, or because you weren't as worried about driving someone else's truck?
I had one crazy adventure.
Oh, you took it out for fun?
Oh, by the way, no, I nicknamed because you had a badge when you work at a bank. You used to have those little badges they were made out of plastic and they carve you. They had a special guy because they had so many employees. They had a machine that they would actually make a badge for you, give it to you,
Yes.
So I nicknamed myself Clutch because I was the driver.
Clutch. All right.
So we have time for a little story, don't we?
Oh, we always have time for a little story.
So I'm 22 years old, 21 maybe, and they deem me the driver. I'm the driver of the truck because the clutch, because I can drive the 3 on the tree on a parcel van. It looked like a kind of a smallish UPS truck, but you can stand up in the back, right?
Yeah.
So I realized that when I'm driving around in the cities of Chicago, some of the intersections, right, would have sewers at the corners, so water would drain. And then, when you're driving, it's, the streets are a little domed and you've got the intersection. Well, that corner, I must have been taking a turn at one point and I hit that corner. Whoa, I get a little bounce out of the truck. Almost weightless. It's like, wow, that was kind of fun. Dangerous, but fun.
What did you do?
So I got a guy in the back and a guy next to me.
Oh no.
The next week, I hit that fucking thing. Boom! I hit it. You going 35 miles an hour, whatever. I hit the middle of that.
How high did you guys bounce?
I felt we were airborne, but we were up in the air so much that I said, oh my God, I'm about to smash into this car that's on the other side of the street that's parked.
Oh no.
So I'm turning the wheel. This is all instantaneously. I turn the wheel hard left. So I'm going to miss that car and the car's not going because I'm kind of in the air.
Yes. Oh no.
So I hit the ground and then a sharp left into a parked car.
No.
It was a a parked ambulance that was somebody had purchased at auction or something.
Oh, now as a 21-year-old man, was your first emotion concern, or how were you feeling?
I was feeling not happy about what I've done. And the guy in the back was in, something's happened. He hooked his finger on a grate, and he didn't do any need to go to the hospital damage, but he hurt
Okay.
himself.
Yeah. Oh Lord. So did you deal with the car that you hit, or did you leave it?
No, at this point you have to go on.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's plenty of hit and run.
I remember the guy that was in charge, Whitey, at the bank. He did not want this. He did not want this warehouse group, this ragtag misfits. He wanted to live a nice, quiet life at the bank, and handle whatever. And then he was given this warehouse, 12 guys of working the warehouse, moving these trucks around. He didn't want any part of this nonsense.
Sounds like a lot of work.
So we had to go and tell Whitey what happened.
Oh, what did he say?
I said, Whitey, this dog came out of nowhere. I had to turn hard to avoid the dog.
Yeah, of course you did.
And then it hit the ambulance.
And the dog lived. So by
hey, the good news is the dog lived.
The dog lived. Hey Tom, by any chance did you watch the Emmys, or sorry, the Golden Globes last night?
I did not. I knew they were on though.
So I love award shows, and I especially love, like, it is like my deep-seated dream that I would be invited to one of the shows or participate in a film that would be nominated. That's always been one of my dreams. So here's the thing. You and I are working via Zoom, Skype, all the things, right? Because we're in a pandemic, everything's socially distanced. So our job is live TV, but we're no longer on the live set. I feel like the companies we work for are pretty high up, and I feel like we're doing our best with what we have. So in my head, the Golden Globes, even though they're doing it socially distanced, they're really going to kill it because they've had the time. They knew what was happening. I was so uncomfortable watching it.
Really?
It was awkward. They did odd things like, they would announce, like, okay, and for best supporting actress, in a TV or a film, and they would have on the stage, they would have all the nominees. And I guess they must have asked the nominees, just casually chatter amongst yourselves. So it's not just you smiling. So every nominee, right before their nomination, they would say, and here they are. And they'd be looking in their Zoom camera going, hi, how's everybody? Hi. It was so weird. And I kept thinking, stop, don't let them do it anymore. And they're uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable watching it. Do you know what I mean? The whole thing was weird. And I thought, well, I can't believe they didn't make a better go of it. I'll be curious to read the reviews to see, because there were some interesting wins on it. But because the Golden Globes were happening yesterday, I did a little bit of research. Do you know the history of the Golden Globes or why they even exist?
I have to admit, I know nothing. As the great Sergeant Schultz said on Stalag 13.
But in your head, what do you think? I mean, they've been around since the 40s. Like, what have you thought about the Golden Globes?
Are Golden Globes, like, are they the foreign press?
Yes,
is that
they're the foreign press.
Foreign press?
Yes.
There you go. There's all I know about the Golden Globes.
Okay. Well, I guess because, and here's a weakness, I think, of all human beings. When something is televised and gets a lot of attention, I think that leads to an assumption that there's value to it, right? There's some value. Of course,
we're not going to take all this valuable airtime and just piss it away.
But we also have to remind ourselves, things get televised because they're money makers, right?
No doubt about that.
Now, the Golden Globes was on CBS for a very long time, and because there were so many things wrong with how the Golden Globes were handled, how the voting was handled, CBS dropped them, and NBC ran right in and said, that's a money maker, we're going to take it. So basically what happens is, yes, I think there's like 90 members of like the foreign press, and they all have to watch all of the films, right? And they vote on them. But in order to be in this group, you don't necessarily have to be a reporter or even have a certain amount of experience you only have to write like 5 stories a year. It's a very loose system, and it's very integrated where, there's a lot of the same people. They kind of vote for who they like. And so the reason CBS dropped them is there was so much scandal with people that were in shows giving very expensive things to get votes, that one year, do you remember Pia Isadora? Do you remember little Pia Isadora?
Absolutely.
So Pia Isadora got nominated for best new up and coming, right? But she was also against some very other well-known actresses. Well, Pia was married to a very old man, and the very old man took all of these press people on a trip, and then lo and behold, Pia got voted up and coming. And I guess that's the thing that kind of cracked it open, because it seemed to be very obvious that she didn't have that level of talent. I think like Elizabeth Montgomery and some other very well-known young women that are still in the business were just pushed aside. So anyway, so go back to current day. The big scandal today is not everybody knows who these people are, but it was discovered there's not one Black member on this foreign press committee that votes, and therefore several Black films were really pretty much ignored. And so that was the big scandal. So it was Amy Poehler and
Tina Fey.
And it was great. They're funny, of course. They did the social distancing. They did a very funny thing. They only did one funny thing. The rest of their bits weren't funny, which I love these ladies. They had the split screen. Amy was in LA, Tina was in New York. And so they acknowledged it, right? Look, it's going to be awkward. There's going to be awkward moments, but we just want to let you to know we're doing the best. So while she's talking, Tina Fey, she lifts her arm up like this. And on the screen where Amy is, some man puts his hand, so that's funny. And I'm like, good. They're clever. They're doing funny bits. Nothing else really worked that was funny along the way. But I think, how it is when you're in an area and all the fun gets sucked out, it's hard to bring it back when the fun gets sucked out. In both the venues where essential workers who were in the room masked, and it was lovely, and they kept acknowledging essential workers, and I thought that part was lovely. And they were doing a feed the hunger, asking people to donate. That was lovely too. But there were some interesting remarks, and I don't know if it's because, do you feel differently when you do your shows? Like, do you feel like, oh, I can get by with more because it's a Zoom? Because I feel like I have to be more diligent because I'm in charge of lights, I'm in charge of sound, right?
Absolutely.
So some of the people, like the one woman that won, I think it was Best Actress, like in a drama, a lovely, lovely actress. It was the movie I told you about, I Care a Lot. She won for her acting ability. And so she was thanking everybody. And then she said, well, I guess I just want to say, thank you to America for their broken system. So we were able to make this film. It was just an awkward moment of like, what do you mean by that? Because that was horrible. Like, what?
I'm glad people are being tortured or not cared for.
Her whole film was about elder abuse. And so that was an awkward moment. But again, because people were distant, some people were saying thank you, and you could hear them playing the music, but maybe they couldn't hear. So they were just talking, and you could hear the music. And I don't know about you, but that always stresses me out. And I'm just sitting there so stressed. And like, and I want to thank my grandma's neighbor, and that dog. And when I went to the vet one time, and they're just thanking everybody, and the music's playing, I'm like, what? How do they? Are they just going to turn off their Zoom? Like, I don't know what they're going to do. I would recommend you reading this, because I think it's a lesson in, hey, you know what? Even though it feels not as fancy because you're not in real life with all the other fancy stars, it's still just as important to be on your best game, because this is an award ceremony. You are acknowledging work that people have done, and maybe don't be so flippant during this time. That's just my opinion. That's how I felt. I was exhausted when it was over because it felt awkward and weird.
You just want to tell people how to act. Gotcha.
And I just want to tell people, just listen to me. Do what I say.
You could have just said that up front and saved, 9 minutes.
I love the award shows. I normally dress up and take pictures and stuff. To talk about, oh, I wish I was here. And I didn't even do it because it felt different this year with, the social distancing and, all the stuff. So anyway,
Yeah.
read the reviews. I'll be curious to know what people say about it, because for my personal experience was it felt awkward and weird.
I'll ask my friend Darcy. She said she was watching it. I'll see, get her opinion
I'd
on
like
it.
to know. Yeah, I would really like to know.
All right.
All right. So what have you got? Because I've got a million questions for you.
Well, let's try. I've got on a lighter note.
Yes.
I was at a friend's house and I used their facility, and I'm going, this is the worst toilet paper I've ever used.
Uh-oh.
I didn't know they
That's
make
not a
it.
good
I didn't know
sign.
they made it this hard and this shiny. It was like notebook paper.
That's really terrible. That's we call it bodega paper. At the corner bodegas, you can get the worst toilet paper, but if you have no toilet paper, it's better than nothing.
Right. But I'm saying in this modern society,
I know.
you can get some nice toilet paper.
Please don't scrimp on your toilet paper. I think that says a lot about you.
I thought I was in a gas station. I go, is there a vending machine I can get rubbers here
So
too?
did you say anything to your friend about, hey, what's up?
I'm like, do you need money? Because like, wow.
Yeah.
There were hunks of wood in there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've had that experience as well. I feel like even if you don't personally care about the toilet paper, if you have a guest bath or something, put the nice toilet paper in there, because it's kind of a big deal, and you're not going to go over your budget buying better toilet paper. You can still pay your bills.
I probably go through a roll of toilet paper in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay. And that might be, maybe I'm using a variety of bathrooms. So whatever.
Yeah.
So Patrick had a guest over.
Yes.
His buddy came over for the week. The toilet paper we're going through a roll a day, it seemed.
That
What are you
happens.
doing with all that? Are you putting it in a suitcase?
That some people just use more toilet paper. I had when I lived in Alpharetta, Georgia, my daughter had a sorority weekend. So everybody in her sorority came to our house in Georgia. So we left and they stayed in the house. So of course I loaded the house up with snacks and treats and food. And we had 4 bathrooms in this house, 4 bathrooms. I loaded up each, because they were going to be there all weekend. I think it was,
4. You put 4 rolls in each one.
I bought the huge packs, the giant, where there's like, I don't know, 10, because it's girls. Girls go through a lot of toilet paper. Do you want to guess, after a full weekend, 30 girls
30 girls.
were in the house? It was a huge house. It was a huge full basement, all this stuff. It was their sorority getaway weekend.
You better have 30 girls on a week, and
For 3 days.
that's going to be,
Do the math.
it's going to be 20 rolls of toilet paper.
Well, I had 10 packs in 4 bathrooms. All of it was gone. They didn't even leave. I think they just took it with them when they, like, is that a thing in college? Just take it with you? Like, it was all gone. I thought it was a prank or something. And I asked my daughter, I'm like, did they say? No, all the toilet paper was just gone.
So, I mean, did you find empty rolls in the wastebasket?
No, I don't know what happened. There was no sign that there had ever been toilet paper there. So in my head, I'm like, oh, these ungrateful
Wow.
girls.
We talked about this later.
I think that's extremely rude. Don't you? Like, they're not even pretending that they used it. I think what they did was, as soon as they saw the toilet paper, they're like, they're rich. I think each girl probably took one, thinking it's no big deal.
If you're going to steal something, are you going to steal toilet paper?
I think when you're in college, toilet paper is kind of a big deal.
It's
Don't you?
$2 a roll.
Son, what else is the answer?
I don't know.
All the toilet paper was gone.
Yikes.
Unless maybe they had a toilet paper party. I don't really know. So did you tell your friend what
Was
you
it
thought?
near Halloween?
No,
Oh.
no, it was a summer thing. Did you tell your friend, or are you going to you should Amazon them some toilet paper?
No, it's funny because I don't clearly care. I thought I was going crazy. I'm going, how many rolls of toilet paper am I going through here? Oh, I'm sharing this bathroom with the guy. Yeah. And then it was funny because Patrick also said, he goes, the
paper towels are flying out here too. So this guy was a paper abuser.
We
He was
all
a
have our,
paperaholic. Huh?
we all have our issues.
I
That one's
know.
an issue.
It's crazy. We call it tissue issues.
Tissue issues.
Yeah.
Other than that, he was fine.
He was
Yes.
great. Very good guy. As a matter of fact, I'm just saying this particular picadillo, but he was
Yeah.
very, super guy. I'd have him move in here in a second.
Nice. Very nice. Well, let me ask you this as a young single guy, and if you're by yourself and you're doing things, I know you like to sing and I know you like music. You
And
look-
dancing.
Yeah, well, that's my question. When you're by yourself, do you ever play music and just dance? Do you ever do that?
The short answer is yes, I have, but probably not enough.
Okay. All right.
I dated this one girl that loved to dance. I said, gosh, I miss doing that.
Yeah,
We'd get up in the middle of, we'd play checkers and get up and start dancing. I go, this is nice.
that is nice. Well, I told you with I love Alexa. I talk to her all the time and I'm always playing different music. And the other day I had her play upbeat French music.
What?
Upbeat. Alexa, play some upbeat French music. Playing upbeat French music.
I'm surprised. I'm waiting for my Alexa to respond to your command.
You should ask her. It is the best music in the world. You have
What?
to dance.
Patrick likes French music.
Oh, then you should absolutely have Alexa play. I had her play the top hits in France. And it's a lot of American music. So it's not really the same.
Oh, I'm going down the TikTok. Have you been on TikTok?
I'm afraid to, Tom, because I don't think I'll ever come out of it.
So small waist, pretty face, in a big bank. Have you familiar with this song?
No, no.
So people are dancing to this particular bite of a song.
Yes.
I got a small waist, pretty face, in a big bank.
Okay.
And then the next line is something about bitching about your mama.
Are you going to participate?
No, I'm not, but I'm like amazed that everybody's doing this particular dance to this particular tune.
See, I know, was TikTok the one that made Baby Shark take off? Because remember when Baby Shark was the thing and everybody was doing the Baby Shark? Do you remember that?
I recall something with Baby Shark happening. I've just recently been introduced to TikTok.
Okay. I'm afraid to do TikTok. The other day when I was having Alexa play Italian music, and then I asked her to play the popular hits in Italy, Baby Shark was one of the top.
No.
Baby Shark played. So I think that's fascinating because that's from a few years ago. So with this TikTok song, is it one of those songs that lots of funny things are happening while these people are singing, or
It's just this one little catchy, they take catchy little refs usually from rapping songs, and they'll act it out, or everybody dances to it. It's entertaining. It's fun, but it's funny because it's like, and then somebody said, we're going to play 10 hit songs and you put a finger down if you recognize any of these songs. And
okay.
the girl who's listening, oh yeah, she all 10. I'm like, all 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Cat Stevens.
I'm
Ship has sailed.
afraid of TikTok because not only will I spend all my time watching it, I'll get it in my head that I can do these songs too. And I'm going to start making videos. And I just think that's somewhere I shouldn't be right now. I'm not in the right mental state to start making dancing videos. I think I need to pull my role right now. And speaking of accountability, how is the rowing going?
You know what? I beat my record. What was that? Friday or Thursday? Yeah. I finally broke 15 minutes.
Nice. Okay.
I take the weekend off because I was busting my hump on that truck.
Yeah.
I did my 1.5 mile walk already this morning. I was going to come home. It's like, I could do my rowing. I need 20 minutes and the show starts in 15. So I'll be doing rowing this afternoon. Melissa says I'm doing it wrong.
Oh, no.
Loving, guiding way. She goes, you got to get your legs involved. She goes, you'll find huge improvement if you use more legs, less arms. I said, I'm all arms. I said, I'm all arms. She goes, yeah, there's your trouble. So I'm going to try a different technique and see what the results are.
Very good. Well, I got my treadmill.
Oh, yes.
I was so excited about the treadmill. I rearranged all the furniture because I didn't want to leave it in the living room, and it's very heavy. So Will helped me carry it. I totally rearranged my bedroom so I could still use my inversion table and use that treadmill in a very realistic manner. And I've used it every single day, and I love it. I am sore. My body is
Wow.
sore.
That's
But
amazing.
last night, I have found I like exercising better at night. Last night, while Golden Globes was on, I just stayed on the treadmill.
Look at
I was
you.
I was a sweaty mess, and I was so happy to take a shower and go to bed and go, you know what? I'm going to sleep so much better now that I'm doing
How
this.
nice is that?
Yeah, so hopefully I'll stay with it. And really, the next thing I need to do is cut out my sugar. I'm a sugar addict. I can't seem to
There you
stop
go.
the sugar.
I wrote a joke in honor of your machine.
What
4
is it? What
stages
is
of
it?
owning exercise equipment.
Yes.
Deciding to buy it,
Yes.
receiving it and excitingly in your home,
Yes.
noticing it's taking up valuable space, and then giving it away because it's too depressing. And then the 5th stage is looking at the person you gave it to is enjoying the hell out of it and getting great results. So there is a lot of pain involved in owning exercise equipment.
That's good. That is real. I've done that with I bought every kind of, I think we talked about, I bought the Thigh Master, which I did love, but I mostly like knowing that I had it, not so much as the use of it. I bought at one point we had the Bowflex, unrealistic stuff. I've always had treadmills, but you're right. I would hang my clothes on it because they were big and bulky. What I really like about this treadmill, even though it's much longer than what I had anticipated, it doesn't feel like it takes up as much room because I have it on the side of my bed, but I can still step off my bed, but it's flat. So there's nothing, it doesn't take up that airspace. So
really? So how do you, does it have a gauge on it?
Yeah, there's a gauge, there's a remote. So once you plug it in, you can decide how fast you want to go, and it times you and shows you the calories you burn and all this stuff. It's all down there on the bottom. So hopefully I'll keep up with it because really during this pandemic time, I'm definitely part of the majority that's just let themselves go. I've definitely let myself go during.
Isn't it depressing to see how much energy you've got to burn 100 calories?
So depressing. Yeah, it is.
I mean, you could hit a treadmill hard and not get to 600 calories in an hour.
It's very true.
And then you go have a donut and a Coke, and there you go. There's 600 calories.
Yeah, that's why I've got to cut out the sugar. I have to really do this in a big way, or I'm going to burn myself out and go, the treadmill's not fun anymore. But for now,
that's wonderful.
Super fucking happy.
I'm proud of you.
You told me you and Patrick have a boat together, right?
Yeah, it's really not in a tip-top condition, but we do have one. Yes.
Well, what did you name the boat?
Melinda. Hey, I'm getting on Melinda.
You both need to get on Melinda. It's the weekend. Let's get Melinda out.
Let's get on Melinda.
But did you guys have to agree on a name, or did you name her?
It's a small boat. You don't name a boat that's 22 feet.
Oh, you don't? I thought you named all the boats. No. Okay. Well, I was looking up interesting questions and questions to start conversations. And one of the questions was, if you had a boat, what would you call her?
Melinda's giving us trouble again.
How do you shut this thing up? Well, I was in a relationship with someone, and we bought a boat together, and I named the boat, which I thought it was hilarious.
Was he 30 years younger than you?
No, he was like 11.
11 what?
Years younger.
Oh, he was younger. Let's go buy a boat.
I've never dated anybody older. I'm old. I've never dated anybody older than me ever in my life.
Really?
No, everybody's been younger. My last one was probably about the same, like 10-ish years younger.
Look at you.
I don't know. I'm not good at math. But yes, younger. So guess what I named the boat? You want to guess? What do you think I would name a boat?
Paycheck.
We named the boat. That's what she said.
Don't. I love it.
I thought that was hilarious. So if you bought a big fancy boat, do you have any idea what you would call her? Because I think that's a great question for people.
You know what? It's funny. Patrick and his cronies were coming up with a name for their band.
Oh.
And I think they came up with something kind of like, that's what she said. It was like, she said maybe. That's the name of the band. She said maybe. I go, I like that.
I like that.
I preferred Gray Matter. And I also said, name the band Bigfoot. There's the name of a band you'll never forget. And then you could have all sorts of crazy t-shirts. I saw Bigfoot.
That's so true. Bigfoot's good. You can do a lot of parody things with Bigfoot. She said maybe is clever, but it might be harder to remember. I like Patrick and his cronies. That's a good name.
Oh, yeah, but they'll never go for that. But I like Gray Matter. I'm sure it's been taken 1,000 times because
Probably.
talks about how you're smart and also we're
So if you had a band, what would you name your band?
Bigfoot. I'd name it Patrick and his cronies. A lot of conversations.
Yeah, so I like that question though. If you're at a party talking to someone, I think that's something that would maybe get people talking, like, oh, if you had a boat, what would you call it? Or, oh, I have a boat, or I have a boating story. I thought that was a really good question. The dancing by yourself was also a question. And then I like this one, Tom. If you could time travel, where would you time travel to? What do you think would be an interesting thing to go take a look at?
So it'd be one and done?
Well, let's say in this case, yes, just to keep it tight. A one and done.
That'd be
Where would
crazy.
you-
What could you do? I mean, you
Where
could
would
go
you
see,
go?
Abraham Lincoln doing something. You could go see, something monumental happening. Columbus landing on whatever.
Well, would you try to stop the Kennedy assassination? Like, would you do that kind of a thing, or would you go more for leisure?
Do I have to save the world? Can I just watch something?
You do not have to save the world. I will. You decide what you want to do for your leisure,
What
and
would I
I'll
do if I
stop
could
the
time
Kennedy
travel?
assassination.
Huh. Let's take money off the table, okay? This is not a money-making adventure. I'd go back and I'd buy Tesla at $1.
Yeah, no.
Go
Let's-
F yourself,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Is it all about money?
No, it's really not. It's about experiences.
Would you go back in time and then tell somebody that things are going to be better?
I don't know that I would do that whole butterfly effect thing
Mess with the timeline.
other than I think the world would be very different if JFK wasn't killed. That's always been like a thing, and I know people talk about that, but as a woman, when I thought about this question,
Yeah.
all the places that I think would be interesting also would be very oppressive for women. So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where I would go because I was like, oh, I love the Victorian era. Oh, they would murder me right away. There's no way I could blend in there without these people killing me for what I say or how I behave. You know what I mean?
I mean, are you time traveling for the weekend or just for a quick in and out?
Well, here's a great thing with time travel. Once you go, there's no concept of time. You stay as long as you want. It could be a day or 50 years. It doesn't matter.
Huh.
So what would you think would be interesting? Where would you like to go?
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to, I mean, we have a particular sense of history that's been written by old white guys, mostly.
Mostly.
Be interesting to time travel to when Jesus was around. What's going on? What really happened? That'd be interesting to go there.
It would be interesting.
Right?
As long as you knew you could get out of there safely, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot of murder and stuff.
Yes.
People were easily killed. Did you happen to watch Saturday Night Live last weekend?
I haven't watched it for a while.
So I thought of you right away because they did a bit where there's a couple in an apartment and the boyfriend says, all right, I'm going to head out for a little bit. And she's on the couch with a blanket. Okay, bye. And as soon as he leaves, the camera zooms in and she says, he's finally gone. Now I can watch murder. She puts the TV on and they do a hilarious song I wish I could remember the words, but basically they talk about, oh, her legs are torn off, her arms are torn off while I'm eating my nachos, they're talking about, because every woman can relate.
It's funny because somebody else. I saw a meme the other day. It was Ice-T going, Netflix and chill. We're watching murder shows. What's going on? This isn't romantic.
There's a lot of murder shows. And I mean, I'll just speak for myself, but the reason I like to watch them is I want to get tips on how to save myself. And because I know there's a lot of murder, it's a safe way to watch what happens to people. You know what I mean?
I know, but the math doesn't make any sense.
Well, I feel like women are always afraid of being killed or raped or something. And so to watch it from your home gives you some sort of feeling of control, quite honestly.
Yeah. And I did hear, I was listening to a podcast or something, and the woman was talking about, yeah, a guy risks her being 50 pounds overweight. She risks being murdered. It's not the same.
It's very, very different.
Yeah.
So
I thought when you said it was nonsense, but when this person I didn't know say, oh, this has a lot of
it
weight.
has a lot of
Now there's clarity.
we all know that I just say shit. It has no weight.
I got
whatsoever.
a buddy of mine who's like, he's hassling. You know what? Verbs mean something. He's contacted the gym where I play basketball,
Yes.
and he said, "Hey, can we open up basketball? You've got pickleball going on in there. You've got kids running around in there."
Yes.
And it's like, the pandemic's not over yet. Just because you're weary of it, and they're opening the gym, because pickleball is a different experience and the kids running around is a different experience than 12 old guys banging on each other, breathing heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, who was I listening to? I was talking to somebody, gyms were like passing around the COVID like nobody's business.
Yes,
Yoga
that's a
classes,
fact.
gyms.
That is a fact. I was speaking to a friend yesterday, and she told me, and I'm so glad I don't have friends that are super into fitness, because she told me that during this pandemic, one of the hard things for her has been watching her friends bragging about losing weight and working out, and they're constantly wearing their little shirts and showing how fit they've been. And I told her, I said, what kind of mindset do these fuckers have that they can actually be at their peak performance during a pandemic? I think that's they're probably murderers. That's a horrifying, that is not a normal thing. But then the other part is she also has friends that are travel agents. And because it's so cheap to travel now, they've been flaunting all the rules and traveling and saying, oh, my kids are homeschooling with me and blah, 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 because we can wear a mask and be safe. It said it's so miserable to watch
The
these
time
people
of my
openly
life. I know, they're just flaunting the rules or safety.
Well, for me, it's the whole safety issue. You know what? If you feel like you're safe and you want to go, can we even go international at this point? Are we allowed? Are other countries taking us?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, because
I don't know.
it's
Yeah.
not, but let's just say they feel safe. Do they have to flaunt it on social media right now? I feel like,
Yeah. I
please
see
just
people at bars and birthday parties. I'm like,
don't do that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of HSN people there in Florida at bars drinking with their arms around their friends, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing right now.
I'm saying you can hassle, you can contact the gym and I guess goad them into releasing letting people play basketball, but
Why?
you're still in the middle of a pandemic.
No.
I mean, we're not done yet. Nope.
That's why I brought my hat out.
I mean, we're close. Hopefully I want that shot next month, April.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know how long it's going to take for us here. They're saying in 2 weeks they made an announcement of who's eligible, and I'm nowhere near that list. It's still, educators and healthcare workers and
Really?
retail people. So I think I'm going to be at the end of the list because I'm not forced to go out in public. So I think it's going to be a bit. So
yeah, I love on Facebook when people are like, I wouldn't take that vaccine. Perfect. Please don't.
I don't even know what to do about that, because what do we do about that? If we have, I read that people that are in the military and National Guard people, they said like a great percentage of these people have been very open that they will not get the COVID shot. So what's that about? Why?
Usually in the military, it's like you don't have a choice. We own your body.
So I don't understand. Well, they're saying like National Guard, people that have done this like part-time or whatever are saying absolutely not, I'm not getting the shot. And I want to know why. The people that are saying no, I just want to know why. I just want to hear the story. Why?
Because they don't want those damn heavy metal microchip parts in their body.
Is that their only reason? That's so weak.
Bill Gates is tracking my ass.
So yeah, I hope by April you can get it too. I hope that as the weather gets warmer that we're still going to be careful with each other, because I think for us here in New York, that's what's going to break us wide open, because we've been inside with this winter weather. So I think people are going to lose their mind.
I wonder, have you heard anything about the flu this season?
The only thing I've read about it is that it's been tapped down because we haven't been out in the world.
That's, yeah.
So yeah, that's all that I know.
Did you want to do one more thing?
I've got so many questions.
It's almost an
Okay.
hour. We gotta,
Okay.
you
pick
got
up
the
your
show.
Pick up your phone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, open it up.
Yes, ma'am.
Hit your Google. Tell me the last thing you searched on your phone.
Big titty.
I knew you were going to say that.
The last Google was Sarah Jean Underwood.
Who's that?
It was she's a social media person that I saw on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I said, where do these people come from? So
I
that's
do
all.
that too.
She's
If
just
I see someone post something interesting, I do research them and just kind of find out what their backstory is.
I also said somebody asked, what's your favorite season? And I said fall. And then I looked up a Hemingway poem that he wrote that I've observed in Sun Valley. Hemingway vacation. He owned a place in Sun Valley, Idaho. He's famous for Key West.
Yes, he is.
But in Sun Valley, he was asked to write a poem about some guy who passed, and it says, best of all, he loved the fall. The leaves yellow on the cottonwoods, leaves floating on the trout stream.
Excuse me.
And above please, now I've got to start again. And above the hills, the high blue, windless skies, now he'll be part of them forever. Best of all, he loved the fall.
That's so sweet. I like the fall just because I love after a real hot summer when you start getting those cool days and you know that it's going to be crisp outside. I really enjoy that. That's a exciting.
So what was your favorite season?
Probably the spring. I like the hopefulness of the spring, the smells where things are starting to bloom and come to life. I mean, I know it's bad for allergies and stuff, but I love the hopefulness of spring.
Nice.
So yeah, so the last thing I looked at under my phone is this, because someone at work was asking me questions about a script and wanted to talk about under eye bags and circles. So thankfully it was nothing really horrifying. This is the last thing I research stuff. I'm constantly, I don't know how I look.
Let me just say something. This is bad news.
Yes.
This is me on TikTok.
Yes.
Some women without makeup, it's a nightmare.
Most of us, it's a nightmare, Tom.
I mean,
most of us, it's a nightmare.
With the bags, like,
yes.
I go, good heavens. I mean, this woman was like shocking. And then seconds later, it's like, wow, she's stunning. It's like, this can't be the same person. And it's all heavy bass and all this stuff and this and that. And I go, my gosh, she was able to contour her nose to make it look like a little pencil nose.
Oh, listen, with makeup, you can
it was amazing. It was amazing. She was very plain.
Yeah.
Circles, flaws. Afterwards, looked like a Hollywood movie star. It's like, wow.
Yeah. There was
no wonder.
No wonder what?
No wonder some women won't, be seen without their makeup, because it's such a huge difference, I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, to me, I like a natural look. But.
Well, there was actually a man a few years back, I think he was from India or something, divorced his wife because he had never seen her without makeup. He actually
Well, I could see that. Yeah.
Said that it was under, and you know what? They showed a picture. She wasn't like that. She wasn't extreme, honestly. She looked pretty much the same, just not as fancy, right? She didn't look as fancy. Right. But for him, in his head.
I mean, you've seen the transitions.
Yes.
It's like, wow.
Yeah. Well, that's why the under eye business is so big, because it's not just the makeup. People want ways to shrink the bags to get rid of the lines. Under eyes is a really big deal out out in the world. That's
Sure.
why during this Zoom time, Tom, it's very confusing because you can put lights on you and stuff, so you look so much better. And then you meet someone in real life. What are you gonna do?
Right. No doubt about it.
So
As Bing Crosby would say, no doubt about it.
that's exactly what Bing Crosby would say.
Dana, get the Minute Maid.
Do you think how many people out in the world are still quoting Bing Crosby?
I think quite a few.
Okay, see, I didn't know. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, Trump used to quote him a lot.
How often is Bing Crosby Googled?
Ba ba ba.
Right. So I don't know what the time is, but do you have a tip you would
We
like
are
to
over an hour.
wrap us up with a great tip?
Buy the best toilet paper you can afford.
I have to go with you on that one. I'm gonna say absolutely. I support that 1,000%.
I bought some toilet paper. I don't know where I got it. And it said like professional grade. Have you seen this?
What professional to what degree? What are we speaking of?
It said professional series from Kleenex, I think. Professional series. We're not shitting around here anymore.
I want to look that up. Like, does that mean it's the best possible, the softest?
It was delightful. I enjoyed it. Professional grade.
All right. Well, everybody buy the best toilet paper. Just honestly, it's the one thing you can splurge on.
Please.
And
And you don't think people are talking about your skinflint toilet paper when they come use your facility? They do.
They
and
do.
Believe me, it's not pretty.
Matters. I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
Thank you for unpacking. Oh, look at that. Your shit with us today.
It's gone full circle. It's called a
It's not
callback.
full circle. Wednesday and Friday, we have exciting guests. We have
Yes.
Mr. Schrader, who is a comedian on Wednesday, and Corby Linker, who's a musician on Friday.
You're sexy men. I'm going to bring some sexy women back in.
My boys.
Besides, in addition to you, of course.
Yes, in addition.
And that's another one in the can. See you on Wednesday with those sexy guys.